welcome back to Shadows over Legaria, everybody. I am your DM, TGE, and we do have 4 of our intrepid heroes here with us. We have Chameleon Ice, Crimson Avix, Erastra, and OPT Lawyer. See, I didn't make you say hi, intrepid heroes, this time.
Hi, intrepid heroes.
You can't make us say that anyway.
Only one of you ever does it.
Exactly.
And it changes which one it is every week, apparently.
I can guarantee that none of us want to do it, though.
Well, one of you does it, and it makes me happy every time.
Well, now none of us are ever going to do it again.
Absolutely.
I'm pretty sure Nora does it because he thinks that's what's keeping Ponzi alive.
Nothing is keeping Ponzi alive at this point.
Yeah, I was going to say, no.
I was going to say, the only thing keeping Ponzi alive is the fact that you actually want this D&D campaign to continue.
And you assume if I kill Ponzi, he's just going to stomp off and have a temper tantrum?
It's Nora, yes. I'm totally assuming that.
I mean, yeah. Welcome to Bay City Chronicles, where tonight we will be doing the Roast of Morestra. I am your Roast Master, TGE.
You also know that if you kill Ponzi, he's going to come back with a character like Fonzie. It's like, it's Ponzi, but better.
Yeah, that's really what's keeping Ponzi alive, is that I've got worse ideas.
Anyway, last time on Shadows over Legaria, y'all were supposed to be on a boat, but first we took a little side trip. Because our good friend Kiara decided she was going to ask our good friend Ponzi if he could acquire some of the good stuff. Ponzi, being the ever-vigilant salesman, knew where he could find some of this good stuff. So Chloe and Ponzi went back into Eagle's Guard and ended up back at our favorite inn, the Sleepy Cat Inn, to try and get the lovely Miss Lavina to part with her plant of catnip. It didn't go too well.
It went about as well as the fight on the boat.
Yes. From there, you remember there was one other place you can go check. So Chloe and Ponzi ended up at the outskirts of the bash and found what appeared to be a hookah bar, but turned out it was just a druidic temple participating in some very, very, very hot yoga. And Chloe and Ponzi participated in the hot yoga and were rewarded with, to quote you guys, quote, a dime bag of catnip. Their line, not mine.
I forgot we said that.
Let's be honest, you would have thought the same thing.
After that, you guys made your way over to the smaller boat to head down the Iriri River back towards Argenti, the Silver City. As you were just about to leave Andarian territory, the boat was attacked by some Sahagwins and their pet water elemental, question mark? The water elemental found Ponzi to be the most fun to play with and continued to play with Ponzi, knocking him down at the fight. Meanwhile, everybody else decided they were going to have a pretty easy time taking out the Sahagwin priestess and her 4 Sahagwin warriors. During the fight, it was the first time the party had seen Kiara transform into her cat form. And then between the cat and Kite and Kite's Echo, they played Whack-a-Sahagwin. Also, during the fight, Ponzi went down, and that caused some dissension amongst the ranks because as the prince went over to try to distract the water god thing, the water elemental, and to heal Ponzi, Chloe decided it was going to be the best idea to turn Ponzi invisible so no one could see where to dump the potion. We ended last session with Prince being pissed off at Chloe, slamming the door in her face, and the party approaching the Silver City Argenti. And that's where we are. So you guys have basically, you're basically in the boat waiting for the dam to recede so you can actually pull into Cinderbrook Keep and basically be in the keep and inside Argenti proper. So you do have a little bit of time as this happens. What is going on with everybody?
For the record, ever since the whole Sahagwin incident, Chloe has locked herself in her room.
So has Alwyn.
Yes.
So Ponzi, how do you feel after you wake up from getting basically another concussion?
Ponzi's looking for that extra catnip that he's got.
The dime bag of catnip you gave to Kiara, you have no more.
He kept some of it on purpose.
I kept some.
Are you
so
doing
he could study it and make things better or something.
He wanted to say, I think, if he could grow it or something, or make more of it.
Yes.
Something weird. Yeah.
Okay, give me an intelligence check. Actually, no. Give me a nature check.
Wow.
Okay, was not expecting that. When you were getting the snippings, you managed to figure out how you can make this work. So you've actually got this little bit of catnip in a pot planted, ready to sprout more. So you basically give it like a week or 2 weeks, and you'll have a catnip plant.
Sweet. Yeah, Ponzi's doing the whole sand garden thing and the thing trying to recover mentally from the assault.
The assault. So yeah, Ponzi is down there watering his plants, playing with the getting the catnip all taken care of. Chloe, what are you doing while being locked in the room?
Chloe's doing a variety of things. Mostly she is writing, soaking a bit, but she's also practicing her magic a bit. And she's kind of fooling around with her spells to see if she can master some new magic. So she's locking herself up both to concentrate and also just to fume.
Madam, you really should at least go out.
Chloe actually doesn't respond to Llewellyn. She just kind of keeps working with some things, actually making a little bit of a weird thundercloud between her hands.
Fine. Can you at least open the door so I can go out?
Fine. Picks up Llewellyn, walks over to the door, opens it, and slides him out.
Unceremoniously drops him like he's a cat.
Yes.
So Llewellyn is flying around now. She really needs to get over that. Maybe I could go figure and talk to somebody. Pretty sure, but who? There's really no one to talk to. Am I going to have to talk to the... Oh, I'm going to have to talk to the alchemist. So, Ponzi, as you're pruning, you're planting your catnip and watering it, you hear... which is the sound of basically flapping pages.
There's only one flying book I know in this ship.
Wait, you know of more than one flying book?
He said, "Oh, on the ship." I guess he did say that, didn't he?
That's for me to know and you to find out later.
Why must you tease me like that?
I know many things.
Yes, like how to get your head pounded in.
I'm an expert at that.
So I've noticed. So, enough of picking on the fact that you can't stay upright, but I have a question. You need some help, perhaps?
Okay.
The madam hasn't come out of the bedroom ever since that battle. I think she's still angry, mad, upset. I don't know exactly what emotion it would be, but it's not healthy for her to stay in there by herself.
Well, you were in there, so she wasn't by herself. Now she is.
She was ignoring everything I said.
I mean, I normally do too.
Ouch.
What do you mean you normally do?
Normally, I don't listen to the books that fly. You're insane.
Weren't you the one who wanted me earlier because you thought you could sell me, and now you want nothing to do with me?
I can still sell you.
Yes, they would ask for a refund. That'd be rather annoying.
Yes. Yes, you would.
Anyway, are you going to help me with the problem with Madam or not?
What's in it for me?
What's in it for you? Well, considering we're trapped on a boat, there's like 6 of us here. And she's mad at 2 of them. So the options are you, Kite, or Kai.
Why is she mad at me?
Fine, I'll help. I'm certain this will come back to haunt me, though.
How is this going to come back to haunt you?
It always does. So, what's your plan?
She won't listen to me. Maybe you can talk some sense into her. Figure out what's wrong. I have no idea. I am a book. Maybe I should have just gone and got Kite.
I mean, everyone likes him better anyway.
Well, considering he's the only one who hasn't been nearly killed in combat. Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't you and the madam nearly die to frogs?
Yeah. So, Ponzi's gonna pull out his jug and pour some Jello shots and head to the room.
The door is locked and closed, which makes sense, I guess, to do both. Either way.
I mean, it can be locked and open.
Yeah. But no, it's closed and also locked.
So Ponzi's gonna beat on the door.
And there's initially no response.
See what I mean? This is what happens.
I mean, I could get the explosive powder out, but
That's probably a bad idea on a boat.
yeah, we're on a boat.
Maybe I should have just gotten Kite after all.
Well, fine. Go get Kite. I'll go back and take a nap. The tree's growing. I'm happy.
What do you mean your tree is growing?
Did you not see the tree?
I saw a pot with soil.
It hasn't started growing fully yet. It's there.
It's been planted. It's not growing. Do you even understand how that works? Here, open me up to page 362 and I'll show you.
Ponzi opens to page 420.
Ooh, your hands are smooth. Dirt exfoliates!
That's not the page you said, but this is interesting.
Oh,
Can I rip this page out?
No, you cannot rip any pages out. But this is the part where I was a coffee table book for a dragon. Oh my.
Oh, dragon.
It sounds so charming.
So Chloe, this whole conversation's been been happening outside the door.
Chloe's actually panicking inside of her room.
Perhaps you should knock again.
Ponzi knocks a little harder this time.
And you hear her muffled like, it's a bad time!
I brought drinks.
And like she just kind of like you hear scrabbling around going behind the door. And I was like, I don't think it's a good idea right now, Ponzi. You can hear there's like a strange, there's a strange tinge to her voice.
It'll calm your nerves.
And the door to the lock to the door, like, kind of lightly unlocks. And the door opens up. And you don't see her on the other side. And you just kind of hear her, like, kind of mutter. It's like, come in. Be quiet.
Bonzi at this point just walks into the room.
Llewellyn follows.
And she closes the door behind you.
Llewellyn at this point is fully looking like just like a random like book with coffee stains on it now because you mentioned coffee table book for a dragon.
And Chloe was hiding behind the door, so she closes it and locks it. And Ponzi, when you look at Chloe, you see that she actually has like most of her face covered with her robe and her hat pulled down really tight.
Are you sick?
Yes, something like sick. What can I help you with, Ponzi?
I brought drinks to kind of ease your tension.
Since you won't talk to me, madam, I figured you'd talk to him.
You brought drink? But, Ponzi, aren't you mad at me?
What? Oh, why would I be mad? I was unconscious for a while. I'm not sure what happened. That seems to be a normal thing around you, though. It's a little concerning.
Ponzi, I almost got you killed. Again.
Oh. Oh.
If it wasn't for me, you might have actually not been injured as much.
Well, you went jelly shot anyway?
Fine. And she kind of reaches out for the shot, and like her hand is actually like wrapped up in her sleeves because she's like clearly actively trying not to show it.
I have no reason to be mad at you.
Why not? It's because of my magic that we all got attacked by the slave trader, and the fact that my magic is that the prince wasn't able to heal you during the fight, and I caused you nothing but grief.
I'm alive.
I suppose
then you didn't summon the water element to hit me in the face.
No, I suppose that's probably somebody else's fault. But I guess that's true. Fonzie, I'm such a screw-up.
We went and did Druid Hot Yoga. We got the catnip. We're good. We're good.
The catnip. And she kind of growls a little bit. And you hear what actually sounds like a somewhat animalistic growl. And she actually kind of like finally gives up a bit, and she kind of like pulls it out of her sleeve to like get a better shot in the glass. You can see that her hand looks like it's kind of this weird, like half human, half animal amalgamation of like it has like claws on it. Yes, no. Don't tell. Oh, he knows now.
Has her arm always looked like that?
Chloe actually just kind of finally gives him and throws her hat on the bed. And you can see now that she actually, her face looks like it's sort of been like half transformed to look kind of like, maybe like a cat, maybe like some sort of like a werewolf thing, something or other, but it also looks partially like Chloe.
Madam.
And I almost got it down.
Madam, we've been over this.
I will have it ready by the time we get to the city. She takes the jello side and she kind of downs it.
Have what ready?
I've been working on an alter self spell.
Why would you want to alter yourself?
Well, why not? But regardless, the spell would come in very handy, I think. Especially if we face more of those sea creatures. It basically would allow me to give myself very different physical attributes. I could have gills, so I could breathe underwater, and there are just various other benefits it could have. It's just sort of a passion of mine to work on small spells like this, but I also think it would be useful. It's just, it takes a bit of practicing.
And you're ashamed because it failed?
I'm ashamed because it looks awful. It's not supposed to look like this. I thought I could try to maybe transform myself into a cat, kind of like Kiara does with this, but it doesn't work like that. It actually just, it makes it awful.
You want to know a secret?
But
Kiara is kind of a cat.
yes, I know.
Yeah, so... yeah.
There's one other problem, madam. We've been over this is how the spell works. You get to choose one of the options, not all of the options.
I know that too now.
If you would have actually responded to me instead of ignoring me over the past day, you would have understood that.
I wanted to learn on my own, Lou.
Then what is the point of having a book here to help you?
Book's got a point.
Quack here.
Through the vent.
You just hear that through the vent. Yes, 100%. The rooms are connected. You hear that through the vent. Yes, 100%.
I know you're here to help, Lou, but you also kind of make things worse sometimes.
How do I make things worse, man?
Because when I tell you things, you tell other people.
Who have I told? And what have I told?
When you make comments in front of the prince. When you say things in front of Kira, like, we talked about this, madam. All it does is make me look awful.
No, that spell makes you look awful.
I know, but I'm trying to dispel it. I'm getting it down.
Well, why don't you use the book to dispel yourself?
It's supposed to be a spell that I can end anytime I'm calm enough just to end it. So, thank you for the drink, Ponty. And she downs the shot.
Do you need some more?
You look and you just see what you think is Llewellyn nodding furiously, but a book really can't nod. So just the spine like bobbing up and down.
And so she does generally take another shot if you offer it, but she's not going beyond 2.
Yeah. Fonzie offers a little bit stronger shot out of the second one.
I'll be fine. It's just I'm tired of screwing up, Ponzi. I'm tired of making things worse.
You're tired of screwing up? I took a dirt nap in the middle of a fight.
That wasn't your fault, though. You didn't choose to get beaten up by a water elemental.
I almost cost us twice as much for your spell scroll.
Yes, but you also offered to buy it, and you didn't have to do that. I depleted your funds.
My funds are fine.
And I still haven't been managing to pay you back because I have no skill of making money.
Yeah, making money's my thing. You're good. See, I can make money. I just need friends.
Is that what we are?
I don't know. Kite over there seems to always want to smack me in the back of the head. Still have a bruise. I don't know about Kira. I mean, you're the only one who's been nice to me since we started.
Well,
I've been unnice.
She's been nice, yes.
Well, I mean,
She paid you for the thing you got her.
She did.
That was a business transaction. There's a
Yeah.
difference.
Well, I think Kira just shows her affections differently than other people,
That was a business transaction.
right?
And let's look at it this way, Bonzi. If Master Kite didn't like you, he wouldn't be hitting you with the blunt end of the stick, would he?
You have a dull point there.
I feel like our group is entirely dysfunctional.
Well, I mean, that's only when the prince is around you.
Ah, the prince.
That's a sore subject, Ponzi. Also, madam, you say this group is dysfunctional. Have you not read anything on classic adventuring parties? They're usually dysfunctional.
I think that makes it work better.
Although most of them are dysfunctional because apparently bards think they have to have their hands on everything.
I've read the tales.
Yes,
I was-
tales penned by the bards.
I suppose we do fit the definition of ragtag pretty well.
That reminds me, I should pick up a lute.
Well, it's possible if you were playing music, things wouldn't attack you as much. You might scare them away.
Or they'd attack him more to get him to stop.
That could be a possibility too.
Both options are true, madam.
That's a fair point.
Madam, did you happen to enchant the vent to talk? Because the vent has been having some fantastic points here.
We should just go next door and have this conversation in Kira's room.
Oh, that was Madam Kira talking.
Yeah.
Oh! See, I was giving you credit. I thought you had enchanted the vent.
No, I don't have that spell yet.
Oh. Well, if you happen to turn to page 597.
Thank you, Lou, and thank you, Ponzi, for the drink.
Oh, no problem. Now, if I'm not needed, I'm going to go back and play with my tree. That's not growing yet.
You do realize that the more you watch it, the less it's likely to grow, right?
I'm not watering it. It's water.
I said
I'm
watch,
soaking
not
the
water.
sand.
Llewellyn is doing his best book version of the Nathan Fillion gif.
I'm playing with my sand. Now leave me alone, book.
I think I'll be good for now, Ponzi. Thank you for the conversation.
Oh, always. So Ponzi kind of waddles out of the room.
And with that, Chloe focuses a little bit more, and you can see her feet just kind of start to turn back into herself as she breathes a sigh of relief before you leave.
So with that, we will scene shift to, let's see, roll the dice. Kite! What? Why are you laughing?
Who's a lucky person?
So Kite is currently outside the prince's door, takes the butt end of his glaive, and lightly taps the door.
You just hear it's open.
You can at least get up and let me in.
You can hear the feet shuffling, grumbly of grumpy teenager being asked to do something they don't want to do. He gets there and opens the door and then shuffles back to where the bed he was sitting on.
Kite walks in and looks for Alwyn's Santetsuken.
It is in the quiver he uses. It's sitting basically on a desk in the room.
Kite goes over, grabs it, sort of flicks his wrist to get it to extend into its full quarterstaff form, and sort of push throws it at Alwyn.
What are you doing? He catches it.
Come on, let's go.
Why?
Because you've all of a sudden become an expert on everything warfare. Come on. You can sit there and strategize against me and tell me how to do everything? Come on, you're the professional now, let's go.
I'm not a professional at all.
You are also one of the ones that have run in recklessly to combat, and you're going to sit there and yell at Chloe for making a spur-of-the-moment decision in the heat of battle. Because you suddenly become an expert.
I like this.
Nowhere is it. Why would anyone turn somebody who's dying, turn somebody invisible who's dying?
I don't know. Maybe the same person who wants to prevent the thing that has been going ape crazy on Ponzi to prevent from hitting him again.
Oh, you mean the thing that at the time was wrapped up with me?
Right. You had to intervene yourself. That thing takes you out. What happens to Ponzi?
Well, hopefully by that time somebody else is there.
Oh, me with all my miraculous potion healing.
I showed you where it was on the quiver. You knew.
I don't know why all of a sudden you have an issue with Chloe. But don't go out here acting like you know every single thing about warfare. Because I guarantee you don't. And if you think you do, then you and I can go above deck right now and you can show me just how much you know.
I know that fighting you one-on-one is not a good proposition, considering you can make a second one of yourself.
Fighting me one-on-one, even if I couldn't make a second one of myself, isn't a good proposition because you couldn't even take Kai.
Fair.
Feelings be damned. You are mistaken if you think I will let you sit there and ridicule someone else for doing what they thought was best in that moment. Yes, it may have potentially cost Ponzi his life. But Chloe doesn't sit there and think, oh, well, maybe one of the other 5 people that are currently tied up in combat may rush over to Ponzi and be able to help cure his wounds. At that point, Chloe was thinking one thing, and that's, I have to protect Ponzi. Forgive her for not sitting there and going over with you about it beforehand.
So he looks for a second. He's still got the staff in his hand, and he has that look, that teenager look where it's like they know you're right but refuse to admit it. We all know the look I'm talking about, right?
Now, if we are to make the best of this journey, I highly advise that you take whatever this sudden harboring of feelings that completely contradict everything that you've acted like towards Chloe before. You take them and shove them right back down your throat and keep them inside. Because I will not deal with you two fighting. I will talk to Chloe. I will tell her to be more careful. But don't act like she didn't have people's best interests in mind, just because it wasn't your plan.
So at this point, he sort of flicks his wrist, gets the thing back into the 3 parts, just sort of throws it in the general direction of the desk, and does the whole, like, yep, I'm done talking to you, teen thing, just sort of turns his back.
If you want, you don't have to be on any more adventures with us. I can just leave you with your dad.
Oh. God, I love Kite like this.
Angry Dad Kite is the best.
Angry Dad Kite's amazing.
Yes.
Well, he is one of the 2 people in this crew who does have Angry Dad as something that they can do. If he reacts to that at all or responds, he doesn't show anything. He just sort of keeps his back to you. But for free, I'll give you that stung.
Otherwise, Kite wouldn't have said it. If you want to continue to sit here and pout like a teenager, I'm not going to stop you. But so help me, if I have to save your butt in battle because you're moping around, then the moment we return, your dad and I are going to have a nice little talk. And maybe he can decide on what you need to do to prove yourself to be a part of expeditions like this. This isn't just a cruise. This is not just a little leisurely trip. We are taking someone to safety. And if we don't, then it might not compromise only Kai's life, but the life of your father, your mother, and your sister, not to mention you. And right now, as much as you may not want to hear this, I'm not going to let you do something that jeopardizes the life of your sister. And Kite just walks out and slams the door behind him, and then turns around and through the door yells, "And that better be the last door I hear slam on this ship."
And then we just get the cut in, because you see the insight check there. The cut in, and it's just this look on Elwin's face of... like, the final realization that, oh, that's what's been going on. Needed to be basically spelled out for him. So, is Kite following through and going to have the same conversation with Chloe?
He is going to walk over towards Chloe's door.
I think at this point, Ponzi and Switch have left, so it is still locked and closed.
There's that same light, gentle tap with the back of his glaive on Chloe's door.
And the guy clears his throat from behind, says, "Who is it?"
Ponzi hears the tap and just naturally starts grabbing the back of his head.
It's Kite. Chloe, do you have a minute?
The door eventually opens up, and you see Chloe, and she looks normal. She doesn't have her hat on this time, but Oh, yes, Kite, what can I do for you?
About earlier.
What about her earlier?
I know the prince said some pretty harsh things to you.
He did, but they weren't entirely undeserved.
Well, yeah, they were. I mean, you think about it. It's not exactly like you're a mind reader. Unless you have that power, and I haven't actually seen it yet.
But not yet, so no, don't worry about that.
You're not a mind reader, and you didn't know what his intentions were, and you were acting in the heat of battle. And so I want to say that your treatment was undeserved. You did not deserve to be treated like that. Going forward, just try to be a little careful. If people are in need, not to completely remove them from everyone's line of sight. I don't really understand your magic. It's far beyond my knowledge and comprehension. But even if there's a way that you can maybe signal to comrades where they might be lying or might be hiding or whatever, just any of that would be useful. But don't think what you do is unappreciated. I know you're trying hard, and it's difficult for you, who really hasn't ever experienced battle, to deal with battle. And I mean, obviously, Ponzi's never dealt with battle. He doesn't even know how to stay conscious during them.
Ouch.
She does kind of, burst out laughing just a little bit at that. But you can see that she definitely was getting slightly emotional at the truth of your words. You're right. I do appreciate that, by the way, and I feel like I'm learning a little bit more as we go, but there is also no excusing the fact that I do have to work on my decision making.
That comes with experience. Even I will make mistakes in battle. And it's just something we all have to learn. And we look at it, Ponzi is still alive, for better or for worse. He's still alive. So, while it may have prevented Alwyn from immediately healing him, ultimately it did not cost anything. So just take it as a teaching moment. And
I do want to ask, if you were in my situation, where you had an opportunity to go over to Ponzi like that, what would you have done?
I don't disagree with turning him invisible, but I do believe that it would have maybe been a better choice to try to get the attention of someone close, just so they were also aware of where he was. Because I know in the instance of Kiara and I, neither of us would have ever been able to find Ponzi. We didn't see him. We were too engaged in battle to see him. So if Kite and Kai, if Alwyn and Kai didn't know where he was, then we would solely be relying on you, and that could potentially be a problem. So just try to communicate.
All right. I'll make sure I do that in the future, and I appreciate you coming to me, Kai.
Yeah, well, I don't think we need any ill feelings on this. There's a lot of learning to do, a lot of maturing to do, whether it's in battle or in life, by a lot of people on the ship. So we'll learn, we'll go forward, and we won't slam any more doors.
Right. I do admit that I'll probably be a little bit. It'll take me a little bit, I think, to face all of them properly. At least for now, but I do appreciate what you've done, okay?
And don't hesitate to come to me if you have any questions.
And same for you. If you have any questions about magic or anything else you think I might be able to help you with.
I have my own kind of magic. I'm not sure I want to understand yours.
Well, I find yours very fascinating, so I feel quite the opposite. But I understand.
Maybe eventually someday we can talk more about this.
Indeed. Well, I have some practicing to do. So, thank you again.
No worries. Just no fire stuff on the ship. I should probably stop by Ponzi and tell him that too.
That might be wise. He is working with trees, it seems, right now, so I'm not sure what he intends to do with that.
Kite puts his finger up, opens his mouth, puts his finger down. I don't want to know, and walks away.
Before we get to that, let's do a shift. We'll do the camera shift through the vent. Kiara! What is
Yes.
our favorite cat person doing? Is there anything she wants to do?
So she comes out of her room and slams the door.
Oh,
Into the hallway where you see Kite walking.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Kite just gives a glare, and then just keeps walking.
Right, she actually looks at his top, so like, what? She doesn't look angry at all. She just look at you like, what?
you raised a barn?
Like, she looks outright confused, but she shrugs and says, Kite, right?
Yes, Kite. Sorry, I've just heard enough of slamming doors today.
Oh, that's my fault. I was, cheekily trying to, never mind. Anyway, I just wanted to say that, you're very good in battle. And I hope that, we can work together quite well. If I think we can.
I very much appreciate your prowess in battle as well. While I don't dislike the others, and I think there's a lot of good in them, it is nice to have another combat vetted accomplice here.
I guess I wanted to ask, because I'm kind of new to this whole working with others thing. Is changing into my animal side too weird for this group?
Are you asking me on my personal bias, or are you asking me in terms of the rest of the group?
Kind of both?
I can't answer for the rest of the group. I can tell you that all three of them think very differently, so you probably won't receive the same answer from all. I can say that Chloe is probably very fascinated when you change because she seems to be obsessed with all things magic.
Oh, Chloe's obsessed with me for that and other reasons I won't get into.
Yes, that is best kept to yourself. But for me, I say be yourself. Be whatever makes you most comfortable, because in your greatest areas of comfort is where you are going to perform the best. If you're not comfortable with who you are or what you are, then there's always going to be that hesitation whenever you're in battle.
I'm quite comfortable with who I am. I just want to make sure that everyone else is. As I said, I'm not used to working with others, and as it turns out, I starting to actually care what everyone else thinks about me. Which is a strange feeling. I've never had that before.
You'll find that it's much easier to not worry about what others think of you and just be who you are and let them learn to come to appreciate that. It may take some coming around for certain individuals who aren't really accustomed to your ability to change shape. But given the right circumstance, they will come to appreciate it. What I can tell you, it's much harder to appreciate someone who doesn't know their true identity.
I definitely know that.
So,
Alright.
so while it's admirable to be concerned with what others think of you, don't put so much substance to it.
Yeah, I hear all the stories about how my kind is not very well liked in places like this, and yet I'm not experiencing that at all. Being out here is not what I expected.
You will learn that there is prejudice no matter who you are. Some people will like you, some people will hate you. Plenty of people hate me. Plenty of people like me.
Fair enough. Thank you. I just said I was just wanted to get word from another warrior if this is something I should just not do or if I should keep going. Because again, as I said, I expected a different reaction. And yet I found one who I could only call a fangirl. And everyone else just seemed to be perfectly okay with everything. It's just strange to me. But again, that's not what I was raised to expect.
We're a strange crew. I mean, look at me. I can create apparitions. We have a guy who sells jello shots that I've never even heard of before interacting with him. We have Chloe, who is enamored with every type of magic and a book that won't shut up.
Yes.
I mean,
Chloe.
And then we have a prince who seems to be only looking for affirmation in, his ability to fight.
I have noticed that. Speaking of drinks, would you care for some tea?
Not right now. I actually, I'm kind of fatigued right now.
Okay. Thought I'd offer.
But thank you.
Of course. So Kira had actually kind of gives a bit of a bow and heads off to towards the top side.
When you
And yes, if you're wondering, that was in fact the tea you're thinking it was going to be.
I know it was.
When you get topside, there is one person out there topside, and that would be Kai.
Oh, yeah, he's here.
Just sort of staring out into the ocean, just sort of like that whole walking, looking like I'm free. I can't believe it.
I guess she walks over towards Kai and just kind of stands next to him for a while until he notices her. And after a while, when he doesn't, she just goes, "Your name's Kai, right?"
Yes. And you were Kiara?
Kira.
Kira.
I was just curious about something real quick. How much do you know about the Legoo's tries of old?
Let me make a check here. Because he might know something. There you are. Oh, button. He looks over. Not a whole lot, really, but
That's the thing. That's kind of why I'm out here. I'm trying to find out what happened to my ancestors. Why certain things were allowed to occur. And yet, the people I run into that I think are the ones at great fault, I don't know, like, they're not nearly what I thought they would be.
it's funny you say that because I could say the same thing about pretty much the same people, but just for different reasons.
Oh, yes.
As crazy as this crew is, and they're pretty dysfunctional. Let's be
Yeah.
honest. Let's be honest. I mean, we got a fangirl mage with a talking book. I'm not sure which one's worse. We've got a full of himself prince who thinks he's everything. We've got a gnome who all he wants to do is sell things. And Kite's pretty okay.
Hey, that gnome was able to acquire some something really nice for me. So,
but anyway, the point being is when they showed up and saw me in the slave quarters, they could have done what every other person I've ever met has done, and just treated me like I'm property and not like a person. So I was expecting that, just as you're expecting it, and I still expect it. Like, this group of people on this ship aside, I'm going to expect that from everybody I see for a while. I'm going to look at them, and I know they're going to look at me and just see a slave and not a person.
So forgive me, I was not here for most of your adventures until now. You call yourself a slave.
I was.
So this country still uses slaves for whatever reason.
And Darion is primitive in a lot of ways. And I don't know why, but I was paid to the Duke for something. I was part of a payment for something that Everett was doing for the Duke, or did for the Duke, or something.
Kira looks actually like a little more upset at that now. And like almost like her resolve has kind of hardened again. Hearing that, kind of like frowns and is like, it's not what I wanted to hear.
Every person I've ever interacted with has seen me as nothing more than a slave. Why should I believe that this group here isn't the exception?
Kind of frowns darkly and is like, I have no reason to believe one way or the other. But that's exactly how my tribe, my ancestors were viewed. That's why I'm here. Find out why that happened. Why that was allowed to happen. The tribe was really quiet for very long.
I couldn't tell you why it would happen. I don't know much about that. All I know is that before I was sold to the Duke, I would always hear Everett talking about wanting the biggest score, and he would always talk about just he never referred to you, you guys, as the goose. He kept talking about, and I'm quoting him here, quote, snagging one of them beasties.
Frowns deep darkly at that. Looks back at you, is like, who did you say did that?
The man who sold me to the Duke, Everett Creighton.
Who is this Everett?
Well, Everett Creighton.
Who is this Everett and where do I kill him?
I don't know where he is now, but surprised you haven't heard of him. He's quite possibly the most infamous slaver in Andarian. You might know him by his nickname, one he very much likes to flaunt around. He's referred to as the Eigengrau Scourge.
Does Kira know that name at all?
Make an insight check.
Based on my insight, I'm going to say probably not.
Nope, never heard of it.
Yeah. So she says that, all right. It's like, I've unfortunately never heard that name either.
That's probably for the best.
Sounds like it. No.
But
I am sorry to hear about your problems with being sold. That's not something that should ever happen.
neither is you and your people being persecuted and oppressed.
And tricked into slavery.
It's going to be strange once this dam finishes, as he looks up at the city. I don't know what I should do. I mean, I know I can't go fully out on my own because reasons, but it's going to be weird to just be able to do what I want to do.
Yes, I sort of understand what you mean, since I've been out here without the guidance of my tribe's elders, and really able to do anything I want to. And it's very strange.
Then maybe we both should take a minute to appreciate the fact that we can do that.
Kira nods and actually goes a little silent for a while as she looks out over out into the water, basically.
Mm-hmm. Kai is doing the same.
After a while, she kind of just sighs and is like, well, this adventure's not even close to being over yet, so I suppose I should get back to it.
Yeah. Your adventure's still going. Mine isn't over, but it's stopping here for a little while.
Oh, I don't know. Fate seems to have a very strange way of keeping things going.
True. But from what I understand, go ahead.
I will pray to my ancestors that you find whatever it is you're looking for.
And I'm not much for praying, because it's never got me anywhere before, but doesn't mean I can't hope you find what you're looking for.
Thank you. And with that, Kira... Oh, Turkai.
Please.
I was just going to say Kira kind of leaves, but if he's going to keep talking...
No, I'm going to say, and he goes back to staring out over the water.
Yeah. She's just going to turn and head back inside. Actually, she's going to stay up top for a while, but she's done talking. She's just kind of like...
Yeah. They're both just sort of like staring both staring at the same thing for the same but different reasons.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now, the question is, does anybody have anything else they'd like to do on the boat before we get into the Cinderbrook Keep? Okay. So it takes a little while longer for the dam to fully get you guys in, but when we're going to go ahead and shift to an overhead shot.
Ooh.
It's the best I could find for what I wanted. It's not the full description, but
That is gorgeous.
Final Fantasy 15, baby.
Oh, yeah.
So you guys make it into the Cinderbrook Keep, and you are met by everyone. I'm hoping recognizes where I got the picture from here, but you're met by this type of looking individual.
Oh, it's the Dragon Quest guy.
No,
Oh.
that's the Chancellor from Chrono Trigger.
Oh, it's the same artist.
It is? Okay.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I would never have gotten that, if only because it looks completely different artwork.
Actually,
It's the concept art, not the actual in-game art.
Ah, okay. Well, that
if I had 3 guesses, I would have gotten it.
Well, you didn't. You had one. You failed. You lose. Good day, sir. You are met by this short, little, excitable Chancellor who sees the small boat and is extremely worried, and it sees all of these people he doesn't know and the prince. And he is extremely worried with this, what happened, why is it just you here, look on his face. And you hear Alwyn go, oh, Chancellor Margrave, it's fine. It's a long story. I can get you all the information, but they came here per order of my father. We were to escort this gentleman to here safely, and he is here under our protection. They are here, and they are going to be here as guests in the keep until my parents get back. Please afford them all the luxuries they should. Kai, come with me. I'll get you where you need to go. And he just takes Kai and walks off. And the 4 of you are left with Chancellor Margrave. You'll have to forgive him. He gets a little excited sometimes. He didn't introduce any of you. I truly apologize. I am Chancellor Margrave. You can just call me Margrave, that's fine. And who might you all be?
Kira kind of frowns and is like, forgive the ignorance. I'm not from this country. Chancellor of what exactly?
Basically, I'm the person in charge of the keep and while the royal family is gone.
So you're not royalty.
Not by blood, no.
Good. My name is Kira.
And had I been royalty, would your reaction have been different, my dear?
I wouldn't have smiled.
Well, do smile. It's a pretty smile.
She does. For now.
And you are Miss Kira. And who else would we have here?
I'm Chloe Vesper. Pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you as well, Miss Chloe. And who else do we have?
So Ponzi's eyes have glossed over, looking at the city, going, "This is amazing, and I'm about to go make it rich."
Ponzi does know that the silver sheen on the city is just a trick of the light and polished stone.
Start scraping it off the side.
That's not stopping Ponzi from being entranced by the city.
Kite only nudges Ponzi currently with his glaive. He has not resorted to whacking him in the back of the head.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Ponzi.
I'm sorry. Did you say your name was Pez?
It's Puffus, but Ponzi, Pez, yeah,
Okay.
sure, whatever.
It's nice to meet you, Master Pez. And you, sir?
I am Kite Silicos.
Pleasure.
I reside from outside of Legaria, but am here on assistance for the royal family.
anyone who has the approval of the royal family is more than welcome in the keep. I can show you to some quarters, and we weren't expecting anybody here, so we don't have anything sort of prepared, but may I suggest you definitely need to go take a look around in the city. It's wonderful this night. And do me one favor. Please make sure your starry-eyed friend doesn't scrape anything.
We'll keep an eye on him.
He knows what's awaiting him if he does. And Kike just sort of clanks the bottom of his glaive against the ground.
Chancellor Margrave in unison clanks his staff on the ground with you.
It's like a Pavlov dog response for.
So he shows you guys, gives you the tour, a little tour of the keep, or like the general common areas, takes you over to the guest quarter section, gets you all set up in individual rooms. So you guys are all that, and then he basically says, "Yep, here is a thing that will allow you to get back in and out until the guards know who you are. I'll let you in and out, not a problem." He gives you all a little royal seal pass. Basically, you get a fast pass into the Cinderbrook Keep, for lack of a better description.
Ooh.
It's got a little token with the crown symbol on it.
You know, I just realized that the path going into this place on this picture is also water.
Which is why I said the picture is partially representative of what I want.
I mean, that's just cool looking.
Yeah, that's neat.
It really is.
Sorry.
Yeah, so again, feel free to look around. One thing to note, please don't be alarmed with the lamps. You might notice that the lights will dance around. That's something pretty much normal to Argenti. Those are the sprite lamps. So again, don't worry about them. That's normal. Also, one thing about the sprites is don't make any crazy promises within earshots of them, because if they hear them and they glow, it'll become a sprite promise, which basically means if you don't fulfill it, something bad will happen to you. Just don't make promises in front of the street.
Got it. Sprites, good. Sprites are good.
Chloe, you knew all of this already.
Yeah, so I was going to say, like, Chloe would probably comment on, like, well, it's not that bad.
You've never been on the receiving end of a sprite curse, have you?
Well, no, but that's because I know better.
Exactly. I'm not going to single anybody out, but it looks like at least one of your party here might need to be reminded a couple of times.
Ponzi, be careful when you open your mouth. It's for your own safety.
But yes, please do enjoy exploring the city. And you seem to know your way around here, Miss Chloe, so I suggest you might want to give them a small tour, at least,
I mean, if you wanted to, you'd probably be much better suited to it. I've only seen parts of it, and some of it more from windows and whatnot.
Well, why not go and explore the city? See what you can find. And you can't buy a lot, but if you want to go explore some of the food and establishment of the city, the token you have will also act as a sort of miniature credit to the royal family.
Oh.
For food and beverage only.
Oh.
Kira still looks interested. Like, she doesn't look disappointed at all.
So yes, enjoy yourselves in the city, and breakfast is served promptly at 8 in the morning.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
Now I have to go find the prince and figure out what the heck he was blathering all about.
Sir, before you go, one quick question for you.
Yes.
You mentioned food and beverage, right?
I did.
Could you point me to your best fish offerings?
Well, considering we're on the river, any of the restaurants along the river would be perfectly suited for fresh fish.
I said your best.
I might know a place.
I believe the young Miss Vespa knows a place, so I don't really tend to get out of the keep much, so she's probably the better option.
Lakira looks like slightly apprehensive for just a moment, and is like,
Chloe immediately says, I don't have. I'm not going to join you. I can just show it to you.
"That's fine." She wasn't looking at you when she did that, by the way.
Chloe still has that on her mind.
Mm. That's fine. All right. Thank you very much, sir.
And Chloe gives a tip of her hat to the Chancellor as well before gently guiding the party out and probably towards the riverfront, like probably a nice little pub that she's aware of.
Well, if you're talking about go ahead and give me an insight check, Chloe.
Roger there. Helps them on the right tab.
It does.
Okay, inside 11.
All right. Well, you don't necessarily know like the best high-end place, but you were a student and you've come into it. But you do know a place that serves some pretty good seafood called the Silver Salmon.
Right. I mean, she's probably eaten around town a little bit,
Yes.
so she'd probably take her to her favorite fish place.
Mm-hmm.
So,
It's the Silver Salmon.
yeah, Chloe leads the group over to the Silver Salmon, and she kind of motions at it for Kira. So you can eat there. It's very good food. I recommend the salmon. I know that's obvious, but yeah, you can go and do that. And Ponzi, I'm sure you want to go see the marketplace a bit. I think we could probably look around at some things. Well,
I propose we all have a meal together.
good night, Tim.
Night.
Oh, good night.
Propose we all have a meal together. After all, we're gonna have to get used to each other.
Food sounds good. The marketplace sounds amazing.
I suppose we can do that afterwards, then.
Yes. Afterwards.
Yes, both sound absolutely ravishing. Madam, can you do me a favor when you order here again? This is one of the few places in town that has the squid ink pasta. Can you just get a side of the ink for me?
I'm not sure squid ink is good for writing.
But it's ink, and I love ink.
Fair enough.
He has peculiar tastes. I'll see what I can do, Lou. I do like the squid anyway.
Well, I apologize if I have peculiar taste. You get a hankering for squid ink when you in a magical like. Do you understand what it's like to be sealed in a kraken witch's lair, being tormented by two eels for generations?
That's the kraken story again.
Yes, and the worst part is, every time she got to her cauldron, she had to sing. It was ridiculous, madam.
Ridiculous, madam. Well, yes, of course.
What were the eels for?
They were
Backup
pets
singers.
and backup singers. Mostly her pets, though. Anyway, who names eels after like shipwreck debris?
A sea witch does. In any case.
Yep. How's that for a pivot?
Yes. In any case, yes, let's enjoy a meal then. And Chloe leads the group inside.
You walk in, and it's a like not a super like 5-star restaurant, but it's a decent little sit down place. Got your typical seafood, got some surf and turf options. It's got a pretty good selection. So, what is everybody ordering? Because yes, I'm gonna ask that.
Oh, Kira is definitely ordering like the lobster with caviar, and like the salmon platter.
I love this so much.
Wowzers. Chloe is just getting the classic silver salmon and chips. And then also a side of the squid ink flu, and of course it comes with calamari, so she has to get a little side of the calamari first, though.
Ponzi.
I'll have the rock oysters.
Half Or a dozen.
Dozens. Oh, and the king crab, the lobsters, some bisque, and that chowder looks good. I'm not paying for any of this, right?
We have the little token thingies. They said the royal family would be paying for beverage and food.
Exactly.
Actually, is a good opportunity to splurge now that I think about it.
Why do you think I ordered caviar? Not that Kira actually knows that that's really expensive.
She knows it's high grade, at least, maybe. Maybe,
She
I don't
just
know.
wanted to try fish eggs.
It's like eating veal, but fish.
Pretty much.
Well, you should try the tuna. I hear it's delicious.
I hear it's fake.
Kite. What is kite dancing? Ordering.
Right now, a glass of water.
So the little round of appetizers come out. You get like some of the rock oysters in the half shell, the calamari with the egg.
No. She would definitely order like a half thing of oysters for the appetizer.
Yeah, so there's like just plates of oysters that come out from the app, and the little calamari and the ink for Lou, and a glass of water for Kite.
I have a question for. What is this thing here? I believe they call it a margarita.
Yes, that's a alcoholic beverage, sort of like Ponzi's Jello shots, but bigger and whiter, and at least in my experience, easier to get drunk off of.
Drunk off of. Okay,
At least that's what seems to happen with some of the girls from my campus.
I see. She promptly orders one.
Salt or sugar?
Whichever. I don't really know the drink style.
Salt.
Thank you. Salt.
Goes and comes back with this with a tall stemmed chalice that has got rock salt on the edge with a light green hue to the beverage.
Well, I might as well splurge too. Yeah.
She drinks a little bit of it, she doesn't like down it. She
It tastes like tequila and lime.
Not that she knows what either of those are, but well, lime she probably knows, so that's good. This tastes fruity.
It is. That's why it's easy to get drunk off of. The taste, I think, masks the alcohol content.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
You've never been to this part of Legaria before, have you, Kira?
I haven't really been to Legaria all that much. In fact, really, this is the first time I've left my tribe.
First time.
Yeah, otherwise I would stay. I had no reason to leave my tribe. I haven't left the tribe, and I just went out, to find information that I wanted to find. With most of the tribe's blessing.
That's wonderful. Most people don't leave your tribe in general, right?
Not to come out here.
No.
We'll leave to see other tribes, whatever, but, for the most part, we don't interact with this part of the world.
Well, if you don't mind my asking, if there's anything they are looking for, and we can help you in any way, I don't hesitate to ask, of course.
I'm looking to just simply find out what happened to my ancestors and why.
We could probably find that out.
Guess I got that idea. That's why I decided to follow you.
You decided to follow us because you thought we could answer that question?
You could help me find the answers to that question.
Well, I do happen to know some things about the Laguz tribe itself and Legaria's history. And I also do know at least of some archives and libraries that I could direct you towards to investigate. So I'm sure that sounds rather boring to you. But there are means to get what you're looking for, is what I'm trying to say.
I'm sorry. What was the last thing she said?
So there are means to get what you're looking for, is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, yes, I'm sure there are. And now that I'm with all of you, I hope that I can, well, you can show me how to find said information. It's a lot easier when working with others, it appears, which is not something I thought I'd ever say.
Well, I'm certainly glad that you've been working with us. You've been extremely valuable.
During this conversation, she's slowly sipping on her margarita, but she's clearly liking it as she gets deeper into it.
After you get about 3/4 of the way through the margarita, please make me a Constitution saving throw.
I actually want to be drunk.
Oh, so you're voluntarily failing the saving throw. Works for me.
Yeah. Maybe not like too hard, but yes. No,
Yes.
I want to be slightly inebriated.
Works for me. So at this point, the massive amount of food that comes, Kite doesn't have to order anything because there's just a ridiculous amount of seafood feast here.
I have to bring another table over.
Oh, we're so inconvenient.
Oh, no, I'm sure they're happy as hell. They're selling a ton of product.
That's true.
Oh, yeah. It's turned into an okay night to, like, this happens, and then, people are coming in because they see, it looks like a party's happening here in the Silver Salmon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
there's no way they're upset about this, There's...
Yeah.
I mean, they had somebody in the house order caviar, for God's sakes. They know they've got money.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So you find Kira just, losing herself in her meal, because everything tastes amazing to her.
And Chloe's kind of politely letting Kira just have at it. If there was any sort of, I'm not sure how cognizant Kira is in terms of, how people around her are acting and, picking up on emotional cues at all.
Mm-hmm.
But at least, Chloe is definitely making a bit of an effort to be more controlled around Kira. She actually seems a little bit hesitant about bringing up questions and such.
It's a pretty big, hop-in party that you guys have managed to create this just, absolutely crazy atmosphere here at the Silver Salmon. So, I mean, you guys probably spend 3 to 4 hours here at the Salmon just because of the amount of food and the people coming in, and it's crazy.
The college kids are like, yeah, party!
Pretty much, yeah.
At this point, Kite is just looking a little annoyed. He really doesn't want to be there.
And eventually Chloe is looking kind of uncomfortable as well because she's not used to the party atmosphere. She's kind of finished her meal and she's good to go.
Near the end of this, Chloe, do me a favor.
Yeah.
I want you to make a perception check for me.
Oh, dear. Checking perception. Oh, she's so bad. 18, wow.
So, there is one thing you notice near the end of this meal. Kira, because she's inebriated and not thinking about much of anything, pulls an envelope out of her like pocket or whatever and opens the letter and starts to read it, and you immediately recognize it's one of your letters.
So Chloe just kind of looks at Kira, looks over at Llewellyn.
Yes, madam.
She looks over at Kira.
Kira's not noticing this. She's reading it.
Kira? Kira!
Yeah.
Yes. Where did you get that?
Oh, it's delivered to me.
By whom?
Well, your book. It was a lot easier since I'm here now.
I'm sorry?
Madam, did it not occur to you that I was back extremely quickly from the last delivery?
I don't know what this means.
I'm Lady Yuna you've been writing for so long.
I have to go. First, a thing with the cab. I have to go to my room. And Chloe gets up and she walks out of the bar.
I wonder what's wrong with her.
Oh, that happens.
Kira is clearly like inebriated at the point where she's not realizing what's actually happening.
And Chloe's face is as red as her hair.
Kite, Ponzi, would one of you be so kind as to bring me back with you to the keep? It seems like I've been left here.
Oh, I'll take care of you. Kira picks up the book and it's like, I got you, don't worry.
Okay. So, does Chloe go back to her room at the keep, or where does she go?
That's a good question. She probably goes back to her room at the college.
Okay.
Yes.
So, we will address that later. So, the unfortunate thing for all of you is that you've spent so much time partying here at the Silver Salmon that all the marketplaces and stuff are closed. So,
we can go to those tomorrow. This was amazing.
Exactly. So, you all make your way back to the keep. And as you all open the door and enter your different rooms, you will all notice something. Well, the three of you will notice something on the pillows of your beds.
Oh, is it chocolate?
No, it is not chocolate.
Dang it.
I wanted it to be chocolate.
It is not chocolate. So, Kite, you get to your bed and you notice a small green token. Well, that looks like this.
Why did you give me the Ubisoft logo?
I didn't give you the Ubisoft
That is
logo.
the Ubisoft logo.
No, it is not the Ubisoft logo. I promise.
I don't believe you.
No, I can promise you it's not the Ubisoft logo. It's technically the tune of Echoes from Oracle of Ages.
I knew I'd seen that before.
So, Kiara, you get back to your room, and on your pillow is a set of bells.
She just picks them up and puts them on the end table next to her bed.
And Ponzi, on your pillow is a very flamboyant bag.
Ooh.
Shiny.
And as the three of you look at these presents, and Chloe is by herself in her college dorm room without her emotional support book, that is where we're going to end our session. So thank you all very much for watching. On behalf of Chameleon Ice, Crimson Addicts, No Race Straight, and OBT Lawyer, I am TGE, reminding everybody to, of course, as always, keep hailing.
Good night, everybody.